Okay, so remember that they're changing my voice. I'm not gay. In the picture on the screen, you should see several pictures. On the top left, you should see a picture of me around 2016 or so. And I look a lot better than the other picture that's next to it, which was taken 2018. I was blinded 2000 in around September 2017, and I didn't make videos for a while because the screen hurt my eyes after, my eyesight returned, maybe 3 days later. And what had happened was some kind of military aircraft or some kind of aircraft that looks suspicious. It's been a while, and the story's starting to get hazy now. I'm starting to forget what happened that day. So it's been a while. My memory's starting to get a little fuzzy on it. But it was some suspicious aircraft, maybe a military aircraft. It flew over, and there was a lot of fumes in the air, and it flew real close to the house. And before I knew it, I started seeing spots, and to the point where it just, I just went kind of blind, like everything went dark, right? And my parents were very calm whenever I walked up to them, right? And after a while, my spine got messed up at some point. I can't remember exactly what point. And I was crawling up and down the stairs, crawling to get stuff. And, at the time, they were already doing something to the water. And so I had to watch what I was eating and drinking while I was blind. And that was pretty difficult there. And they're helping me only a little bit. They didn't really scramble to help me out. And they were saying, "Oh, don't worry, it's just a migraine. Your vision will come back, and has your vision come back, and so on and so forth." Here we go with another person. It's pretty rare that those engines. I don't know if the microphone picked it up because I'm speaking on a mic, not the phone mic. Anyway, so that occurred. Now, on the screen by now, you should have seen various pictures of my body at various points. Now, the bigger pictures are more confusing because I hadn't worked out for a while, and I started working out, and I got really close to the camera, okay? But my arms weren't that big for most of my life. It was just during those moments where I had to catch up on my workout, so I did like 10 sets of biceps and things I don't usually do that, bodybuilders would do in terms of how many sets I did, but I use free weights and what have you. And I don't want to get too much into my exercise routine, but my arms really swole up, and I wanted to prove to people that my strikes would hurt a lot because they were saying that sparring doesn't prove this, that, and the other thing. And I said, look, I strike surgically. I'm faster and smarter. I maneuver people. I'd crush their spine. I'd crush their throat, their eyes. They're growing. Okay, I'd strike their knee with my hands and my legs. Various techniques I use. I could strike there's a lot of stuff I can do to cause them a lot of damage in no time flat. And a lot of people were very, very jealous of me, very jealous, and it was very straightforward, and they were scrambling to try to stop me. Okay, on Facebook, I was posting pictures, Tinder, and Big Brother, as they say, was watching. So I want to wrap this up quickly. I don't have much memory on my phone. I should have like 30 gigabytes free, but because they hacked my phone, I only have like half the gigabytes free that I'm supposed to have. So I only have like a couple gigabytes to work with, and it goes quickly here. So right now I probably have like 500 megabytes actually. So let me wrap this up here. So there's that. Now, it's important to note, I keep forgetting this part, I don't think it's a coincidence, that my face is slimmer like it was back in 2018. And it kind of got there over time. And I've been arguing with them about that. And I said, don't make it so I look gay and I have a kind of odd look on my face. They have the technology, they could change it if they wanted to. And it's a long story why that is. It has to do with what happens when you manipulate the material on the face, your skin, your flesh, the bone structure. It's what happens when you manipulate the brain, and because the brain allocates resources, when you have a moods, you have a certain look on your face, the temperature of your body, it manipulates various components and aspects of your body and your physiological processes to make it so that you appear to look a certain way. Okay, and it's within the boundaries of whatever your natural facial features are, the limitations of that, the variations, the spectrums, what have you. So there's that. Now, so let me end by saying that eugenics, again, was about using the agencies of social control, right? The agencies that were under their social control to improve or impair racial qualities. It was anthropology, psychology, psychiatry, universities, police, institutions, right? Civic institutions, government institutions, churches, all that stuff. Even the Boy Scouts, at every turn. Just think about the Klan in a small town. At every turn, they manipulate things for white supremacy. The people doing this are white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacists, and they're people in token minority groups like the Freemasons, the Boulets, and there's lots of groups. These college frats, there's lots and lots of different frats. The Qs and the Kappas and the Sigmas and whoever the hell, right? I don't know all about that stuff, but I know a bit about it because it keeps coming up again and again in my research, and I've seen these people's symbols when they're targeting me and so on and so forth. So that's very much a part of it. There are hundreds of registered secret societies in America, and they're social clubs concerned with socializing, social engineering, controlling social media, censoring people, right? And I can go on and on about that, but I'm out of memory on my phone here.